coming at you with a breaking news. It's not breaking news now, but it is an emergency edition of the Hunt the Front podcast. Big news yesterday, rumors 2 days ago, and then big news finally breaking yesterday about Hudson O'Neal out at the Rocket One team, and we wanted to get on here and talk about it. We're obviously getting ready to go racing at Talladega, so if we didn't get on here today and talk about it now, we weren't going to be able to until who knows when next week when we're back from that. Speaking of which, Talladega short track. Joshua, you excited about the Bama Bash? You want to get a plug for that in real quick before we talk about this Hudson O'Neal Rocket One stuff?
Yeah, Bama Bash, Talladega short track, Saturday, 15,000 to win. The launch of year 2 of the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series. We got 20, officially now 20 regulars signed on. That number could grow by the time we throw the green flag at Talladega. And we're expecting in total our super late model entries pushing 50. We're at 50 expected drivers that have told us they're coming. That number could fluctuate some, but going to be a big weekend at Talladega. Y'all get there if you can. If not, tune in live on Hunt the Front TV.
And the weather situation's looking up for tomorrow. They pretty much, rain chances gone for that. So we're excited about that. But we're also, I guess, coming off of a little bit of shock here with the Hudson O'Neal announcement that he is leaving Rocket One after a very successful year in the ride with Mark Richards, wins the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Championship, wins the World 100, Mark Richards' first World 100. And do we feel like did either of you pick him to win when we picked our Lucas Oil champions? Did any of us pick him? Anybody pick him to win the title?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't think we did. I don't think we did, but I think we all had him in the making the chase, if you will, and being in contention to defend his title. How shocking is it, Jesse? How shocking was the news? I know it was a little weird because you had the rumors, and then by the time it actually was the news put out there yesterday, Thursday, it was kind of, I don't want to say old news by then, but you knew it was happening, right? But still, how shocking was it when we finally find this out?
Well, okay.
Right. He's back. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, it's about like the Bobby Pierce and the tire soaking deal or whatever, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you look back at the year they've had and how much success that Rocket and Hud himself has had. And it's like, why? And like you said, one of the top dirt late model teams, out there, how could someone walk away from that, or why? That's the first question is why?
Right.
And, I don't think nobody really knows.
No. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there.
And add real quick. So just add real quick. You saw it talk about the top dirt late model, but you're also talking about one of the top drivers too.
Yeah.
So it kind of works both ways, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but it's not just whoever is making, we don't all know all the details and probably never will, but on both sides, it doesn't make sense. Right. And that's what's shocking about it for Mark Richards and the Rocket One team to either, if they were the ones that decided to make the parting of the ways, or if it was Hudson, both of them are walking away from what was seemingly great fits for their situation. And obviously it's not, they, for whatever reason. But that's why it's so shocking on both sides. It's kind of, why are they doing head scratchers on both sides, basically?
Where was Hudson, like second in Lucas Oil points?
I think he's second.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, still sitting poised to have as good a year, if not better year. Like, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if they broke out and had the top year. They were if Hudson was the number one driver, that was the number one team in the country this year, in dirt late model racing, defend the title, win the World 100 again, and just, could have, a dominating year. And that's, to me, is what's so shocking about it, is it looked like they were, he won the Lucas Oil title last year and the World 100, but he wasn't necessarily the top driver. You had Pierce and RTJ, right? 1 and 2, I guess. But it looked like he could make that next step and be the driver this year, in addition to defending the title and competing to win the World 100 again and that kind of thing. That, to me, is what was so shocking about it. Do we have any inclination as to, what might have been the situation there, or I know there's a lot of rumors out there and not a whole lot of solid information, but any thoughts there?
I'll say, obviously, if you're on social media at all in the dirt track, world, you've seen all kinds of wild rumors. You know, and I have no idea. I'm not gonna give credit to any of those rumors, but clearly it appears that neither of them, you know, neither side had another option in place or another reason. You know, Hudson didn't have, you know, doesn't appear to be going to a different
Yeah.
team, you know, that he was leaving
Yeah.
for.
I think his plans is I don't really know right now. Like how
And
shocking that's
yeah,
even, you know, even more shocking that wait, they don't have a plan in place for who's going
yeah,
where, you know, who's
right.
doing what.
And it's the same way on the other side with Rocket. I'm sure they're, you know, the announcements, the way it was, even Michael Rigsby with Dirt on Dirt said, you know, Mark Richards is talking with multiple high level, you know, exploring multiple level options with high level drivers. He didn't have someone in play. Like what I'm getting at is clearly something happened that was I don't know if it's personal with that. It was something happened there.
Right.
Is you know, it wasn't performance based. It wasn't you know, better opportunity based. It appears something happened that caused a split there, and they went their separate ways. It could be something simple, like they just had a differing of opinion on how they should operate. Who knows? It could have
Yeah.
been something deeper than that, but I doubt we will ever know. And I feel like the sport should probably leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
It just feels like a breakup. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah.
Like the couple you didn't think was, you know, they're solid over there, you know, standout couple. And all of a sudden they split up. Like
So
what happened?
so
You know?
I'll add to that. It is kind of, you know, we kind of hit on this with the Bobby Pierce news and the tire stuff, and still hard to believe, right? That, and a lot of people will never believe it. And now you hit with this, like you said, almost shocking, like two shocking news item drops, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
in back to back, and I think I mean it to me it's the wildest 48 hours in dirt late model racing history, right?
Yeah.
Like and some people don't really get into the news stuff and the behind the scenes stuff, you know, but I mean I did that for 6 or 7 years of my life. That's what I did, was as a reporter for Dirt on Dirt. You know, so for me, this, like, I even asked you guys with just the Bobby Pierce news, like what was more significant
Right.
than that, right? Like what, you know, like earth shattering, break the internet type stuff
And
in
shake
our
up the
sport.
sport too. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you know, have yeah, you know, major impacts have we had, you know, and then you follow it up with, you know, you know, I'm not, this isn't as big as some other things, like, you know, Josh Richards retiring, you know, Shepard leaving
Mm-hmm.
Rocket One. Like even Rocket One has had, you know, arguably bigger news items on their own, but just the way it happened and unexpectedly, it was pretty big to have those two things back to back. It's been a pretty wild, you know, couple of days in the sport. And I'll say, kind of crazy that something that was seemed as just a crazy and, you know, rumor on Twitter. And shout out to Jason, or
Racing
whoever the
Jason,
guy's
I
name
Yeah.
think.
that broke the news. I mean, and then, you know, like he ended up being right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
wild.
and let's transition right there. Ending up being right. I think did I see where that same individual, some of the same individuals who were the first to um, get this out there, right? The rumor people, I don't even know what to say. The people ones where you started seeing it, right?
Okay, let me say this. So let me stop there and add, if when we say he was right, and here's the thing in our world in journalism, because I went through it again as a reporter for Dirt on Dirt Flow Racing, and worked at World of Outlaws in the media there. You know, you know a lot of these things. You know, I would imagine the folks at Dirt on Dirt knew
Mm-hmm.
what something was going on with Rocket One, and probably had, you know, yeah, this is happening, but you can't report on it.
Right.
You
You
know,
got to
probably
wait.
pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like ESPN and you know, where sources, you know, like we don't, that doesn't happen in our sport because um, it's a small sport, and if you do something that you know, break news, leak news, you know, that you know, a major team or track or series or, you know, organization, you know, you don't do it that's favorable to them. And I don't mean that like, you know, no, like this isn't a sport where you can leak news and you know, and drop, you know, do that kind of stuff, and they're not going to give that information to you in the future, right? Like it's, you know, it's you can't, as a reputable, legit news organization like Flow and Dirt on Dirt and some of the others, you kind of have to work within the bounds that you're given. Whereas
Right.
some of the folks on Twitter and social media,
They're not worried about
they're
it.
not
They just want to
journalists.
be the one to get all the
They're
shares and
talking. Yes.
comments and
Um,
likes.
yeah. So like, so that is one thing. I don't think Race and Jason was the only one who
Right.
knew something was going down. He just was the first to kind of say, "Hey, I'm gonna say
Say
this."
it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah.
the first to know. He was just the first that didn't mind to say it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then once you have
I can't tell you how many times we sat on news at Dirt on Dirt to
Right.
wait and have
permission, like you're not gonna make someone mad if you run with it.
Exactly.
And
So,
didn't you notice when did Dirt on Dirt flow, whatever? When did
as soon as it came out,
as soon as Hudson put it out,
ready.
they were putting it out.
They,
It was
they probably had it. They were probably had the story ready 2 days ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just the world we live in, and
Yeah.
it's anyway.
Well, as far as the reason I mentioned about the rumors or whatever, some of the same people are talking about who's headed to.
I promise you, Dirt on Dirt probably already has the story written on who's
okay.
replaced.
Who is it? Jesse, you had a thought.
I mean, I had speculation. I do a lot of my talking live on Twitch and just talking with viewers,
Right.
that speculating and it's like, okay, who makes sense here? Like it's got actually Ricky Thornton Jr. Even he was on Twitch last night and we were kind of talking about it, and he was like, it's got to be someone that has results and has no drama and no drama.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like they have to be not very knowledgeable, like who comes to mind? Who has been a little bit struggling, with what they got going
would
on?
leave a situation. Who would leave a situation?
Who could do that?
But is also capable of immediately
Yes
producing results.
Yes. It was thrown out there of Tim McCready.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. That's the name I've heard.
And on the flip side, think about this: Paylor Motorsports already has a secondary driver. I mean, they're
grooming the next.
Yes. So it's kind of like they got Carson Ferguson that they can maybe shift more of their focus on, and then maybe McCready goes try something new. He's getting older, and he's knowledgeable, veteran racer, has results. Maybe he goes
just
to Rocket
won the title, Lucas Oil title. Was it 2 years ago?
2 or 3 years
3
ago.
years ago, 2021. Right? Correct.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and they came out with the new Longhorn house car. So it's like, well, maybe it's McCready. That's
Joshua.
That's
you got any inclination?
Jesse's speculating a little.
Yeah, this is purely speculative.
Speculation.
So I'm not going to speculate, but I'm going to provide reasons why Tim McCready would make sense. Veteran driver. Here's the thing. The Rocket Chassis house car and Team Rocket One have two goals, right? They're to win races and championships, right? Be competitive, obviously, but also it's to develop for Rocket Chassis, R&D for Rocket Chassis, right? So you don't just need a guy who can win races. You need a guy who is willing to put in the time and the sometimes sacrifice a little bit to help the program, right?
Yeah.
Like and brings knowledge,
willing to experiment and then provide feedback.
Yes, and also has plenty of experience to provide that feedback, right? And Tim McCready, there's not a whole lot of drivers that fit both those those requirements, right? And yes, with Mark Richards and that team, it's drama for with not with baggage or drama, is another important thing. I would say right now, Tim McCready, if you had to look through all the guys and that performance level that could potentially fit that spot, I would say Tim McCready has all those three things. And although he is obviously had a split with Rocket a few years ago, went to Longhorn, drove the Longhorn house car program with Paylor Motorsports there for a while. He has a long history with Mark Richards and Rocket Chassis. I would not be surprised. I mean, that would be if there are still some hard feelings over when they parted ways. He left the Rocket Chassis, switched chassis brands a while back. If they can get over that, I think, and go back to what the kind of relationship they had before, I think that would be a good fit. So, it makes sense. I would say when you sit down and look at it.
Oh, we lost Joshua again.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the Wi-Fi at the shop isn't quite as good as we thought. There he is. You sure you're connected to Wi-Fi?
No, my phone's blowing up. So
okay. We got any breaking news there? Oh no, you got everybody's ready to get ready to go to Talladega. Okay, one last thing.
Yes, that's
Hudson O'Neal. Any speculation? Anything? In his post he mentioned sounded like he's going to be racing at Brownstown next weekend, right? Didn't it sound like that was going to be the case?
He'll be on the Lucas Oil Series. That he'll find a ride or someone or help him put together a program to at least try to mean, I'm speculating, but I can't imagine he doesn't keep that going, right? One way or
Yeah.
another,
It might
it might
take
not
and
be
be
all
pieced
year.
together right now,
Yeah.
a car, somebody driving this car now and something later,
Yep.
but yeah, he's going to
And-
be on tour for sure. I
Yeah,
think.
it won't be hard for Hudson to find a ride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He will get in somebody's car.
And the good thing about it is, and this is the case for both of them, if it takes whoever goes to Rocket One a little bit of time to adjust to fit in, as long as they're already on the tour, the Lucas Oil Tour, and if for O'Neal, even if you
Yeah.
struggle a little bit to figure your new situation out, you have the points reset, right? That if you can just
Yeah,
be in
you
that
just need to
top
be
four,
top four.
you
Yeah.
can then
Yeah.
still have a chance
So-
at the title.
So that was another thing with McCready, the fit, right? Being that he's on the
Mhm.
Lucas Oil Series.
Right.
I'm wondering how the car owner and driver points work. I know with Outlaws,
Yeah.
it's two different point standings, and the points fund is half and half based
Mm-hmm.
on if you have. So I don't like. I wish I'd have taken time to try to figure that out, but I hadn't had time because we're getting ready to go to Talladega. But there's some scenarios there where are we going to have two different champions potentially?
Yeah.
Right, like or one, how does it affect the top four? Like I don't know if what I'm saying is I don't know if Lucas Oil does owner points and driver points separately like World of Outlaws do. That's
Right.
and we do on our series starting this year because of this situation where if you have a driver leave a team, who gets the payout, the points,
Mhm.
right? Who you have to have a way of navigating that. That's a whole nother can of worms that I don't know enough about the Lucas Oil Series format to really know how they do that. But we might have to investigate that because it could cause some drama down the road.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. However it shakes up, however it comes out the other end here. It's been a wild situation, and it's provided a lot of interesting, I don't know, little interesting things to follow the last few days. And if nothing else, it's taking the heat off the guys from earlier in the week that had the breaking news about them.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
that's
old
old
news
news.
now.
Old news.
Tire samples, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, wild days out there. It's the wild west anymore out here in the dirt late model racing world. All right, last one more time here. Don't forget, we'll be racing in the Hunt the Front Super Joseph Joyner, and then also the Hunt the Front team and Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series. Big show kicking off the series at Talladega this weekend. Come on out Saturday, 15,000 win, 1,000 to start, and it's live on Hunt the Front TV. And I don't know, y'all let us know what y'all thought. What's going to become O'Neal, who's going to Rocket One, and how crazy of a situation was this? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. And fellas, y'all get back to work, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Hey,
See
like,
y'all.
comment, subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See y'all.
See y'all.